Namaskar, good evening, good morning, good afternoon to you all, whichever part of the world you are there. On behalf of J&A Bharat HSC Foundation and J&A Global HSC Foundation, we welcome you for the 7th Outreach and Knowledge Transfer session. We call them as a OKT session. So every session we focus on the important topic, and today we are focusing on the commemoration of the World Food Day 2022. As well as we are going to talk about the essential micronutrients for health, fortifying Bharat, we call it as India. And you can also share the link which is seen on the screen with your friends and colleagues who can also join the Zoom call. And this is going to go for almost 60 minutes with a question and answer session as well. As a protocol, we have this particular instructions for the systematic as well as simple and effective Zoom call. Kindly mute your microphone, and you can also raise your hand whenever you want to speak. Preferably switch off your camera and switch on whenever you want to speak, and post your queries, comments, suggestions in the chat box. And the meeting is being recorded for the future reference. And please register your name, company, designation, phone, email ID in the chat box for communicating future about our sessions as well as our programs. And of course, we are planning to have a very ceremony virtual group photo at the end of the session as well. Kindly be available until the end. And it is going to be very, very interesting topic today. And this particular session is going to be in 2 parts. It's a very standard agenda we have. In the part 1, we are going to talk about the J&A Bharat HSC Foundation, what exactly it is. And basically, we are going to talk about what are the professional development grants we are offering, scholarship programs we are offering for the students as well as HSC professionals. In the agenda 2, or in the part 2, we have a knowledge transfer session, basically on the World Food Day 2022. And we are also going to talk about the 2 subject matter experts from US on insight into nutritional deficiencies in pediatric population in developing nations. Of course, folate deficiency, spina bifida prevention by folic acid, and micronutrients issues and all those things, and opportunities for remedies. And we have a very good crowd today of mostly people who are really shown interest on the topic we are available today. And with that, I just want to welcome our fellow founding trustee, Mr. Jitu Patel, for the welcome remarks. Before I invite for the welcome remarks, I just want to briefly talk about who is Mr. Jitu Patel. He's an international HSC consultant with 45 plus years of experience in overall experience, and 21 years in Saudi Aramco, which is the largest oil and gas company in the world. He was a research scientist for 15 years at a major heavy chemical manufacturing company in UK, and his work has taken him throughout the world, serving on such boards and committees internationally, and he's a co-founder of many international chapters with me. In fact, amongst other, he's a founding trustee of the J&A Bharat as well as the J&A Global HSC Foundation. With that, I would like to welcome Mr. Jitu Patel to give the welcome address, in fact. Yes, Mr. Jitu.
Ashok ji, you really blown the trumpet very hard and loud. Thank you for that kind words. I would like to start saying first, the nearest and the dearest, Dr. Ojha, Narayan Ojha, who really, as I mentioned earlier, spare his valuable time to be with us. Mr. Bhaskaran from Singapore, both Vijay Kumars from India, Hyderabad as well as Thane, Dr. Jogi and Mr. Jonathan, both our honored guest speakers, our fellow board members, Madhu Buraji, Ramprasad Guruji, and all others who are with us today, whether they are in the students level or our fellow professionals in health, safety, and environment. So with that, on behalf of the J&A Bharat HSC Foundation, also the governance who are with us, we extend, both the trustees, Ashokji and myself, a very warm welcome to all. And I would request Ashokji to go ahead and share a little bit of a brief overview of J&A Bharat HSC Foundation, please. Before I do allow him to do so, everyone knows Ashok as Ashok Ji so well globally for his remarkable contributions to health, safety, environment profession, and for developing countless number of HSE professionals. He has made significant impact worldwide in saving lives and assets. He is a director of Board of Certified Safety Professionals, in short, is known as BCSP, and holding various respectable positions with global safety professional organizations. In 2020, he was honored with the highest fellow honor offered by American Society of Safety Professionals. I'm proud to say that he has received many more global honors and awards of high repute. Ashok Ji, floor is all yours.
Thank you, Jyoti Saab. Of course, it's a pleasure to collaborate with you. And before we talk about today's topic of the World Food Day, as well as on the micronutrients topic, we just want to briefly highlight about the J&A, why we started this and what is the aims of this particular foundation. As you see on the screen, there's a world map with the blue flags are there. And these are the flags where our footprints are there since, almost for a in together experience of 9 decades. Together we have it. So we have been working together to make the, contribute in the field of safety, starting from Alaska of US to the Australia in different parts of the world. And when we have been doing this, we came to know that there are much requirement is needed in India also. As you see on the screen, this particular statistics is coming from the ILO, International Labour Organization, global deaths related to the industrial accidents. Even yesterday also we had seen, in the last week also we had seen so many accidents are happening, and industrial accidents also happening. And India is on the top of the chart. In fact, on the right side, you see the reported industrial deaths in 2020 during COVID time, in fact. So we wanted to do something because we have done so much of around the globe, but we wanted to do something specifically to India. And that's why this J&A Global HSC Foundation has been conceived. The idea has been conceived. Basically, we have so many regulations in India, like a national policy on safety, health, and environment at workplace. And the purpose is to establish a preventive safety and health culture, to enhance the well-being of the culture, employees. And as per this particular policy, the government of India engages and encourages with several national and international organizations in the field of health, safety, and environment. There only we wanted to support all the government as well as the HSC professionals in specific, and more importantly, the students fraternity in the HSC profession. And we have been doing several activities and regular ongoing activities related to occupation safety and health, including the international collaboration. That's what we are having today with Dr. Jogi and Jonathan. So to have some sort of a collaboration with the subject matter experts and bring back the knowledge to the India. That's one of our objectives. And of course, this is a UL safety index where India is lying on the 63rd rank out of 0 to 100, 100 being the best. So our aim is to take the 63rd to the best, whatever is possible, every drop counts. So we just wanted to be a drop in that ocean to have some sort of a knowledge, give back to India. And recently there is an occupational safety, health, and working conditions code recently approved by the government of India. This particular code also talks about the utilization of the advisory bodies, subject matter experts by the respective state and central governments. There we wanted to have our input as well. And there are so many organizations in India. It is not that we are first in this field. There are so many organizations like National Safety Council, IOSH UK, NEBOSH UK, ASSP, which is American Society of Safety Professionals. But in what way we are different? We are different in a way that we are not a membership organization. We are a foundation. Basically, we wanted to support industries as well as the OHS professionals, as well as the student fraternity. It is not at all a membership organization. And we do have our own objectives as well as the vision, mission statements. And with that, we registered our foundation on 25th March 2022. Of course, it was a virtual inauguration because of the COVID-19 and other issues. And there are so many professionals participated in that. Our objective is simple. As I was telling, that it's not a membership organization, purely charity oriented to support the HSC profession. We'll be coordinating with the professional organizations, we'll be coordinating with the corporate organizations, we'll be coordinating with the academic institutions, as well as individuals like we are doing today, philanthropists and NGOs. So that's our J&A Bharat HSC Foundation. We do have a vision, mission, as well as objectives. As simple as that. We just want to support the HSC fraternity in India. That's as a simple vision and mission. And we have objectives such as advancing as well as supporting the occupational safety health as a career choice among the students, to inspire and develop leaders in the safety, health, environmental practices, to provide education and developmental opportunities to the deserving individuals, extending humanity. So there are so many things in the pipeline, but as we inaugurated on March 2022, we are just taking a baby steps, in fact, and we also have a memorandum of understanding with the Safety Engineers Association, Chennai, and we are in the process of establishing such a memorandum of understanding as well. So, and we do have our own proper registrations as per the government of India rules. It is registered in Telangana, India, and we do have our PAN card, the opening the bank accounts, and website is available. And currently we have 3 programs. One is a Bharat HSC Foundation Professional Development Grant. That means people who are in the profession, they want to enhance their skills, but they are unable to do because of the finance or because of the lack of understanding where to go. We do the financial support as well as the mentoring support. And the second program we have is the industrial accident victim family support. Most of the time what happens is that when the accident happens, sometimes because of the loopholes in the legal regulations, there will not be any adequate financial support or the relief is provided to the employees. And we are planning to have such sort of a support to their families. That's also one of the program we have it. And this is another program we have is the J&A Keval Shanti Scholarship Program. This is the individual support program. Dr. Dhruti Patel, she's one of our governance body member. She launched this particular program on her grandfather's name, Keval and Shanti. So that is also one of the, if anybody wants to have an individual program, we welcome that idea also. This is one such program. And this is the rules and regulations, how the students can apply. And you need not apply physically, everything is online. And we have the website for the application, J&A Bharat HSC Foundation.org. It is not only the the scholarships or anything, but if you want to contribute to the foundation in terms of the knowledge, in terms of the advocacy, you're also welcome to do that. That is also forms are available. And we can also have the contribution form in respect of the amount of money or anything, but everything is available in the online. We just want to use the online facility to the maximum. And as of now, we have the governance body, we have the different functional committee members are in position. And as you see on the screen, these are the governance body members, and the bottom is the functional committee members. On the right side, you see is the Mr. Venkatachalam. This is a unique position we have created called the advocates. Everybody will be busy, but they cannot contribute in so many areas. So we have created a position called advocate. He will be the advocate in 2 ways. Wherever he can bring the support from the corporate organizations as well as the universities or institutions, that way he can bring it. Or he can, if he is coming across with the students who are in need of the financial support or the mentoring support, he can also connect with us. So he's just advocating. So there's no much work in that, but you are welcome to do that also. So that is also one of the things we have it in place. So this is about our part A of the part 1 of our presentation. We just wanted to highlight on that in 10 minutes time. So now we will go to the part 2 of our presentation. As I was telling that Every month, we'll be doing the OKT session, outreach and knowledge transfer session. And the last 2 months screens you are seeing there, we did on the safety instrumentation systems in the month of August. In the month of September, we done on the hospital safety, as well as issues related to the insurance and risk associated with the hospital safety. So that was done also in the month of September by Mr. Ram Prasad. This month we are focusing on the knowledge transfer session on the World Food Day and the importance of the micronutrients. So we have two subject matter experts for that. Before we go to the subject matters, I just want to invite our chair for the collaboration, Mr. Ram Prasad ji, to briefly talk about the World Food Day and how it can be connected to the nutrients and micronutrients. Mr. Ram Prasad is a regional director for the Bharat Re Insurance in India. He's having a 35 plus vast experience in the field of insurance, risk assessment, risk management. And you can see on the screen, so much is available. And he is our chair for the partnership and synergy development. That means he will be focusing on the collaboration with the similar organizations who are having the similar interest. He was instrumental in establishing a MOU with J&A and Safety Engineers Association of Chennai. So with that, I request Mr. Ram Prasad ji to briefly talk about what is this World Food Day, how can we connect to the today's topic. Mr. Ram Prasad.
Thank you very much. Warm greetings once again to all the distinguished guests over here. So October 16th is celebrated across the world as the World Food Day. Next one, sir. So a few points to ponder. Around 9 million people die every year of hunger and hunger-related diseases. Now, this is more than from AIDS, malaria, and tuberculosis combined. And the source of this information is the worldcounts.com link, which we have provided. Another interesting piece of information was that humanitarian organizations estimate that one person dying of hunger every 4 seconds. It's just a blink. I have spoken for a minute now. 15. So this would equal about 7,745 numbers and 19,071 numbers dying daily as a result of acute hunger, and between 5.39 to 13.69 people dying per minute. This information was again sourced from the reliefweb.int report. Next one, sir. So having spoken on this, J&A decided that this was a key area of interest which should be discussed and probably try to arrive at some points from this gathering and share it with the concerned people. The main focus of this day is that food is a basic and fundamental human right. World Food Day 2022 is devoted to highlighting food and agriculture and is marked every year with multiple global challenges. And this year, the world is facing many challenges, including the COVID-19 pandemic, poverty, hunger, inequality, conflict, climate change, rising prices, and international tensions, and many more. We just named a few of them. Next one, sir. So World Food Day 2022. The theme for this year is Leave No One Behind. So carry along the community. And why do we commemorate this day? It's a very vital point that I thought we should address. The primary goal is to promote global awareness and action for those who suffer from hunger, and to highlight the need to ensure safe, healthy diets for all. And it's one of the most celebrated days on the UN calendar. And as I mentioned, the theme for this year is Leave No One Behind. And I think very apt subject. It starts with nutrition for children and the anomalies that go along with it. Therefore, the theme highlights the building of a sustainable world through the communal efforts of all the actors of the food systems, where everyone, regardless of their age, gender, region, culture, diversity, and circumstances, has regular access to enough, safe, and nutritious food. Thank you, sir. Today, enough food is produced to feed everyone, and still millions continue to suffer from hunger and malnutrition. Why? There are several reasons for this. Importantly, among them, for almost 3 billion people, that's 40% of the world population, a square meal is expensive. There is a great deal of wastage, supply chain losses, lack of storage and warehousing facilities, natural calamities like floods and cyclones, and droughts, just to name a few. Next. The challenges are many, but together we can overcome. I now hand over the proceedings to Mr. Ashokji to continue further. Once again, warm greetings and namaskar to every one of you.
Thank you, RPG, for setting the platform for the today's knowledge transfer session. In fact, the theme is leave no one behind, and that is our objective of today's program also, that we do not want to leave anyone behind. And Dr. Jogi and Jonathan is going to share something related to that, the efforts that are taking place. So before we talk about the essential micronutrients for health, Fortifying Bharat, I request our Chair, Community and Corporate Engagement of our foundation, Mr. Madhu Buraji, to briefly talk about these two gentlemen. In fact, he is the one who is instrumental in connecting the dots with them. And thank you, Mr. Madhuji. And we take honor of inviting you for introducing the speaker of today's topic. Mr. Madhuji.
Thank you, Ashokji. Greetings of the day to all of you. I now take pleasure in introducing Dr. Jogi Patisapu, who is an MD, professor at the University of Central Florida College of Medicine, US. He is a global volunteer coordinator and serves on the board of Foundation of International Education for Neurological Surgery and on the Global Committee in World Federation of Neurological Societies. He served as chairman of the International Education Subcommittee of the AANS and CNS Joint Section of Pediatric Neurosurgery and editor-in-chief of the Pediatric Neurosurgery Journal. Dr. Jogi's research contributions include basic understanding clinical outcomes of hydrocephalus, awareness, prevention, and outcome of head injury, and various other topics in pediatric neurosurgery, leading to 60 publications and 10 textbook chapters. Dr. Jogi is currently focused on global burden of head injury and spina bifida with several active projects. With this, I take pleasure in introducing Dr. Jogi. Now the floor is yours, sir.
You can also introduce Mr. Jonathan. Both are going to talk together. Yes, yeah.
Fine. Okay. Right. The other speaker, Mr. John Yer, is an alumni of Emory University and attended the Graduate Studies program in Public Health at Georgia State University, USA. His primary interest is to explore and foster ways for volunteer organizations to collaborate on global health initiatives. Mr. John is a board member of the Atlanta chapter of the American Diabetes Association. He is currently involved in diabetes information and screening initiatives. He received the Sheffield Leadership Award. He is the owner of Data Savers LLC of Atlanta. Thank you.
Thank you, Madhuji. And I request Dr. Jogi and Jonathan to share their screen and start educating us on today's topic. Can I unscreen, sir? You can share your screen. You may be on the mute.
Yeah, I'm muted. I guess I'm the first up.
Yeah, thanks. Mr. Jogi, you want to share your screen, correct?
Am I sharing it, sir?
Yeah, you can go ahead and share your screen. You wanted that, correct? Yeah.
I'm sharing it. Okay, I'll share again.
Okay. Please do it. Yeah. Perfect. It's coming. You can keep it on the full screen. Yeah. Great. Go ahead, sir. Thank you.
Dhanyavad, and thank you very much for including Jogi and me in your meeting today. We want to engage you in a discussion about micronutrient deficiency. It's a huge health problem in India and in many other nations. And it's also an appropriate topic for World Food Day, I think, because food and nutrition are different aspects of the same thing. Fortunately, this problem of micronutrient deficiency has a technical solution or solutions. And we recognize your gifts and experiences as technical people and would like to call upon you to think and to join us in trying to solve this problem for India and hopefully beyond. We'll begin the slideshow, which is titled Fortifying India, talking about the essential micronutrients for health. Next, please. Micronutrients, as you know, are vitamins and minerals in small amounts, and they're really essential for your health. If you lack them, you can become ill. And often the micronutrients are part of foods. That's the preferable way to get them. But if not, they can be added by fortification. Next, please. There are 6 preventable micronutrient deficiencies that were identified by a Dahlberg study. And actually, India has more than this. It has zinc and calcium, but some of the primary deficiencies that affect the nation are iron, which causes anemia, iodine, which causes goiter, and in the embryonic stage, it can also cause impaired intellectual function. Vitamin D, an absence of that is responsible for bone loss and a few other issues. Vitamin A can lead to blindness, especially night blindness and stunted growth. Vitamin B12, or what we call folate deficiency anemia, is responsible for anemia, but also for a category of defects that we're going to talk about today called neural tube defects, and Dr. Jogi will lead the way on that. I'm sorry, B12 is for folic acid deficiency. It's folic acid, the next one that's responsible for NTDs. Pardon me, maybe a cup of coffee too many. Other important micronutrients are listed below: zinc, magnesium, selenium, and so forth. Next, please. Here's a depressing statistic. 45% of deaths in children aged under 5 years are linked to malnutrition. Just imagine what we could do for these children if we could fortify their food. Next, please. And of those that survive, there's you can look at this chart and see that there are an awful lot of children that are missing very important nutrients in their diet. And I won't go over each one, but you can get a pretty good idea that we have a long way to go before children are fully vested with the nutrients that they need. Next, please. Didn't know if you know this. I didn't know it, but India is home to 40 million stunted children. And there's you can read the slide. I won't read it for you, but a lot of states are involved, and there are over 17 million wasted children, which it's amazing and tragic. Next, please. Anemia in India, it's the highest in the world, and it affects almost 60% of children and about a little more than half of the women. And you can see a map ranging from no public health problem to a severe public health problem, and there's no place on the map that is no public health problem. So India needs iron and also vitamin B12 to prevent this anemia. Next, please. And more statistics. Women seem to have suffer predominantly on some micronutrients like iron and vitamin D and so forth as listed. So it's a problem for our ladies too, not just children, but women and ultimately adult males as well. Next, please. The process of food fortification, adding nutrients to regular foodstuffs, does offer a solution, and that is the solution for the problems that we have described. And one of the ways is to add it to salt. There's a pretty big initiative worldwide to provide iodine in salt, and we hope maybe also folic acid. You can add it directly to the food, such as rice. It can be added to flour and grain, and to oil or to condiments. Actually, I read a study where some of the tea and chai were being fortified, which I know it's a favorite beverage of India, and that's a clever way to get it done. Next. I picked a picture of a fortified thali. I'm a big fan of thali, and I know this is probably regular fare for you, but it's a treat for me. But there are a lot of things that you can do with a thali to add fortification, and you can fortify the various components shown, like the milk, the salt, the rice, and the wheat flour, and the oil. Next, please. Micronutrient deficiency may damage health over time, but lack of one particular nutrient, folic acid, during a very brief interval in a mother's life can cause the death of her baby or a child with significant severe birth defects, lifetime birth defects that have no cure. They can be patched a little bit, but there is no permanent fix for them. And this is the only nutrient that has this devastating and this quick an effect if it is not part of the diet. And this is something we're going to talk more about. Next. The message that we want to share with you and hope that you take home is that these NTDs, or neural tube disorders, or defects rather, are preventable. These birth defects are preventable, and prevention is inexpensive. It costs very little to add folic acid to a mother's diet. Next, please. Joey, I think this is where you take over. Thank you very much for allowing me to present my part of the program.
Thank you, Jonathan. And then it's a nice introduction, bringing it to folic acid and what we're going to talk about today. And then Jonathan will come back again to do the last few slides to close up. Friends, thank you for paying attention and giving us a chance to talk about something that we consider important, and hopefully we can engage you all in the future. A lot of deficiencies do occur, but they don't cause direct lifetime significant deforming problems. For example, anemia, iron deficiency is severe, but it makes you weak and makes you slow and makes you problems. Some other micronutrients, some other deficiencies, as was just mentioned earlier by Ramprasad Garu, they do give problems, but they make things worse when somebody gets sick, like a child or whatever. This is actually a born defect that causes severe limitation in life and, of course, happiness. Neural tube defects, NTDs, you may be hearing those words, of these types. I'll go into all of these. And friends, exposed spinal cord, and we'll tell you why it happens. Anencephaly is a condition that is not convenient with life. It will not sustain it. People will not live. The brain is not born, is not made. People will die. Encephalocele is when there's a protrusion of the brain through the skull, and we have to operate on it right away to fix it. And I'm interested in hydrocephalus, though it's not an NTD. It is oftentimes associated with spina bifida in about 70, 80% of cases. Here you see a mother in India in our recent study holding the baby that's kind of old, and there's a big sac in the back. That is spina bifida. And what happens here is that this is a neural tube. Friends, we are all made like this, a sheet of paper that folds itself into a tube. It's happening on the left in a chick embryo. This is what happens in all of us. It starts closing in the middle and then goes to top to bottom. In the picture on the right, you can see them. The top part of this neural tube in all of us makes the brain, very important. And the bottom part makes the spinal cord. Friends, please see this neural tube folding into a tube in all of us. It happened to you and me and everybody. If it doesn't happen properly, you see this baby, one of my operative pictures, with a big bump and a lump in the back. That's the spinal cord that's exposed with fluid. We have to operate on it within a day or so of birth. It causes lifelong problems with bladder, leg functions, all types of difficulties, Now I point out to you these two circles, friends. They're very important. This process, which I just talked about and shared with you, happens at 24 days before 1 month of pregnancy. The mother has not missed a cycle. The mother has not gone to the doctor to find out a pregnancy test. The mother then gets the prenatal vitamins and iron that we talk about. But at this time, 3 to 4 weeks of pregnancy, this occurred, and we're all at this time 2.63 millimeters in size. That's how small we are, and this is when this problem occurs. Again, a schematic of spina bifida, anencephaly, encephalocele, a normal baby. I have lots of pictures of all these and didn't want to show the pictures too much. Friends, in America, we got involved since the folic acid story was identified in UK back in the early 1900s. In 1996, we all made a move. I was part of it. In 1998, in America, we started fortifying flour and other things. So all the cookies and bread and everything, we get folic acid in America. The incidence, I used to do 35, 40 cases a year and went down to 30, 20, 30 like that, and went down. And now very, very few. The incidences in America is less than 1, almost 0.5 per 1,000 births. We do not have good statistics for India. Last year, I gave an oration on this in India, and I looked to the literature, talked to many people. The best guess we have, friends, is almost in the bottom right, it says up to 18 births per 1,000. But in general, we take it about 7 to 8 per 1,000 births. Compared to the US, look at the numbers in motherland. There's got to be something wrong. Something has to be done. That's why John and I are here. This is another study. It came out of northern India, again, recent, but unfortunately, it says this: if you study all the pregnancies, but friends, unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, I don't know how people see it, I don't like it, but once a mother knows she's pregnant with spina bifida, at the emotional and all the other costs, a lot of times the pregnancies are terminated. Sometimes, I verified this, the radiologist identifies the problem by ultrasound. Immediately, the mother and the family goes to get an abortion, terminates the pregnancy. Therefore, the numbers are artificially not correct. Unfortunately, there is a track record for this. And in Germany, a recent study, 2016, out of 246 cases identified, 157 were terminated right away, often within 2 to 4 days of diagnosis. Unfortunately, as late as 30 to 35 weeks after pregnancy, a viable fetus is stopped because they have spina bifida. And therefore, they have a low incidence, you may say. Right or wrong, we have to see, but it's not fair. These are some of my kids from my spina bifida clinic. Just interestingly, on the right, this is a Jordache ad. This is my child in a wheelchair, Molly DeFilippo. It's kind of cute that she's actually participating in life. 75% of these patients, of these people, have an IQ of 75 or above, which means you can hold a job, you can participate in society, you can have a decent life and laugh and play. Yes, my wife Annapurna and I get all dressed up. She wears a sari, I wear a nice tuxedo, and we go dancing with these kids in their wheelchairs, go to picnics, parties. These are my children, and yes, they have problems. When they go to the bathroom, they don't go to the toilet, they catheterize themselves. They use crutches and wheelchairs. But from here up, friends, one of these kids can operate a laptop and control the space station if they want to. They do have the abilities. I have patients who are lawyers, doctors, nurses, hotel owners, everybody. But these, if you don't take care of them properly, will cause suffering and serious pain and early death. Unfortunately, yes, in many societies, and I travel the world and I participate from Malawi, Uganda, and Ethiopia, and South America, etc. Yes, unfortunately, these families are ostracized. They're not taken care of because it's difficult to carry around. Because we just mentioned what's happening, just at the recent Independence Day celebration, Prime Minister Modi did mention again malnutrition that Jonathan was talking about, and we heard just a few minutes ago, will do this. And they're making a movement to fortify rice. And Ashok Gowda sent me an article yesterday. And yes, I am aware of it, and I can talk about those later, but we can do better. We can use rice, wheat, flour, salt, corn, etc., whatever. And this is the plan. We should do this. We should do this. But we have to give it to women who are thinking about having a family. After they get pregnant, like I showed you, the neural tube closes, it's too late. It's like asking the fire department to come after the house is burned down. Therefore, we need to do this early, friends. And the only way to do this is to fortify. You cannot tell people, take a pill, take a pill. People will not do this. They will not. So all of us, you, me, everybody in this audience, we all have to take the extra folic acid so we can protect the future generations. I mentioned about rice a minute ago. Just want you to know the FSSAI, the Food Safety Authority of India, passed a resolution. Unfortunately, they lowered the standards. The problem, friends, is that you assume that the average person eats 10 to 20 kilograms of rice per month to maintain their diet. And then they have what's called fortified kernels in those rice, 1 to 100, 1 to 200, etc. So they may not get enough. And if you think about it, this is the amount that is suspected, about 125 micrograms per day. We need to give these mothers to be 400 micrograms per day to avoid this. Folic acid is basically a water-soluble vitamin, vitamin B9, just like we know citric acid, just like we know vitamin C, just like we know B12. This is also nothing but a vitamin. Some people don't like the word acid, but it is a vitamin. And some people use these terms interchangeably, folic acid, folate. The reason why is that folic acid means all the different forms of it. And I didn't want to go through the list of it here, but we know some of those. But the synthetic one is what we're trying to give people. And the reason why, friends, the reason why we need all these, we don't live in the type of lifestyle we're meant to live, where nutrition comes from Mother Earth. We live artificial foods, bad diets, as you mentioned. Maybe teach the kids in the chat. Somebody mentioned we have to teach the kids not to eat junk food. That's the problem. If we eat good, healthy vegetables, etc., we may be able to have enough, but not quite. Still not quite. And please understand, we talk about all this, but folic acid prevents about 80%, not 100%, 80% of these spina bifida preventable. And I like this little bread, nice roll, because in most of the world we use wheat, and it does work. And most countries do it. Very interesting. The study to use folic acid, sorry to laugh about this, came out of England back in 1992. Only about a year ago, England finally agreed to fortify with folic acid. America, we did it in 1998. Many countries are coming on the world, and there's a push to get this done, to make it international. India is not yet a part of it. For those scientifically oriented, here's the map of the actual metatetrahydrofolate reductase and the way this folic acid works. And friends, we can reduce together, as you see this bottom right slide, we can really, really, really make a big difference in the incidence of spina bifida. Just wanted to give out a kudos to the Visakhapatnam team. I think I saw Anil Kumar, our project coordinator, on the team here. He is working day and night to get this done. Friends, here's a packet, 1 kilogram packet of what's called double fortified salt, which is iodine and folic acid. This is nothing but the Tata salt you buy in India. Package was specially made from Jaipur. We had folic acid in there, 400 micrograms of a daily consumption. And here we have a packet of quadruple fortified salt with iodine, folic acid, iron, and B12, because India has a lot of B12 and iron deficiency. So thanks to Anil and the group and Dr. Vijay Shekhar and all the people you see, 13 tons of salt have been distributed to the villages. So we have control of the supply chain, drawing blood levels to see where we're getting good findings. The first set of results are very positive. We're waiting for one more blood draw in 2 weeks. Friends, if that makes it, Bhagwan's grace, we'll have, again, India back on track. These are the countries that do not yet fortify. I direct your attention to motherland India, since most people are from that area. And yes, I work with people from Singapore to all over the world on this issue and wish we can do a little bit better. I mean, we can still prevent a lot more. We have a group called GAPS BF, this is the Global Alliance for Prevention of Spina Bifida, and they're helping us push this forward. Out of the 216,000 estimated, unfortunately, almost 100,000 of these are from India. Half of the global burden is coming from us. We can do better. We can do better. And this group is very dynamic. John and I are part of it. Anil is a part of it. Maybe other members are here. And this is where we get this. Madhu Garu, this is Jeff Blount and my friend, the Chief Executive in India. And this is the people that are making it happen. We're having a World Health Assembly resolution to make it mandatory globally, almost like iodine, almost like vitamin A, vitamin B, vitamin D, etc. We're trying to get this done. We need India on board, which is why we're coming to people like you, because you're well connected. I'm very happy to have made some progress. What I'd like to do now is turn it back over to John. John, please take over and go from here. The next 3 slides are yours.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Jogi. Next slide, please.
Did you want to discuss the Dahlberg study, or you already did?
Well, I did talk a little bit about some aspects of the Dahlberg study earlier. And what I really want to talk about is the opportunity that we have to make a difference. And there are many ways that we can make a difference. Thank you for advancing that. We can do it in small ways, and I'll give you an example. My Rotary Club is involved in a project to provide women in in Ethiopia who have already had one spina bifida child with enough folic acid, a higher dose to prevent having additional children with the malady. There's a 10 times greater incidence of spina bifida or NTDs after the first child is born with one. So that's something we're doing in a small way. It's going to impact 2,500 women. We hope to give them the vitamin in pill form and follow. But there are other ways that we can help in small ways like that, or in big ways. And certainly one of the biggest challenges that we have is to build awareness and overcome some of the resistance and inertia that the government people and others have about listening to the problem and thinking and understanding it's solvable. In the world, probably 260,000 NTD births per year. And as we saw in an earlier slide, some 80% of that number can be eliminated by for food fortification. And you think about all the lives and the suffering that is prevented by something so technically easy to do. So our job is, if we can, is to increase awareness, just to talk to people about it. If you know decision makers and influential leaders, and you have the opportunity to discuss it, please do. Teamwork, one of the things that I think is important is to collaborate with others. And right now we're looking at ways that some of the other big voluntary organizations such as Kiwanis and Lions and Rotary and the Optimist Club, these are popular clubs in the US and throughout the world, can coordinate on these kinds of initiatives. For example, the Kiwanis folks have already put iodine in the salt of over 190 nations worldwide. So it should be pretty easy for them to add a little bit of folate to those batches and really make a huge dent in the problem. Improve education. We have various flyers and other educational materials that if you have an opportunity to present and if it's something that moves you, we can provide you with those resources and be glad to do so. But most of all, we know that you are bright, engaged people, and we want to reach out and ask you to think about the problem. This may not be a problem that you think about every day, certainly not. And it may be a new problem or maybe sort of way back there in the priorities, but we would love to get your thoughts and ideas of how we can do this and how we can make this happen in India. We don't have all the ideas, certainly, and we know that you have some unique perspectives and would be grateful for anything that you want to share. Next, please. So anyway, I hope this is a beginning of a thought process and hopefully a call to action that we can engage you in solving this problem, which, as we noted, is a huge one in India and elsewhere, and that you can help to ensure the future of your children and your wives going forward and prevent suffering and death of children as well. And I guess, next slide, please. Well, we do want to thank you, Jogi, and I want to thank you very much for your time and attention and for hearing us today. And hopefully we have given you something else to think about. And Jogi, do you want to say anything?
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you for enlightening with the very important topic, sir. Yes. Thank you so much. Yeah. So with that, I'd like to thank Dr. Jogi as well as our, So let's do slides.
Jitu bhai, I mean, excuse me, Andy, are you controlling this thing, sir? Ashok Garu?
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yes, I'm controlling. Yes.
Okay, because he has the slides also.
Yes, that's why. Thank you, Jonathan, as well as Dr. Jogi, for enlightening with the very important topic. In fact, we were even not aware of these statistics that much. India is contributing to a large extent, unfortunately, but as our Ram Prasad ji said, we do not want to leave anyone behind. We want to take everybody together. With that, I would like to open it for the discussion as well as the comments and any questions to our subject matter experts today. You can raise a hand as well as you can unmute and speak. And before anybody asks, I was just making a notes when you both were presenting, Dr. Jonathan as well as Dr. Jogi. You mentioned in one of the slides, stunted children. I don't know exactly what is the meaning of that and what makes what is the cause for that? Why India is contributing so much related to that?
Dr. Jogi?
Most common cause for them to be small is poor nutrition in general.
Okay.
Not enough calories at the time of their growth, for their brain development, for their muscles and bones to develop. This is well known. But friends, the good news is I'm very proud to see Indian kids are now tall, Indians are tall, and we're tall in the world. Not just because of that, but because we don't have the food shortages that our forefathers did. When I left India in 1969, I still remember rations and people coming to the door begging for food. I remember the first few times going to India, taking coins and money to give to beggars and people. Sad to say, we see as many beggars in America as we do elsewhere. And in India, you don't take money to give to beggars anymore. They just don't happen, except as rackets and people doing a business. So food availability was probably the most common cause. Secondly, micronutrient-wise, yes, all those things that Jonathan talked about. Not enough vitamin D, not enough zinc, not enough other nutrients does stunt growth. That's what that means in general. I'll just add one comment inside the microphone, if you don't mind. I took one slide out in the interest of time. There's a thing called the Willis factor in 1929 to 1931.
Yeah.
The initial identification of B12 and pernicious anemia and all of this was made in Mumbai. So India was the first to make the contribution of these things almost 80 years ago. And now we're the opportunity to do it again, to say we can change the world because we know how to control this folic acid deficiency. We're focusing on one just to get the hook. Once you get the hook, everything will work. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I think there is a comment in the chat box. So let me check that. Yeah.
Ashokji, if I may.
Yeah, please go ahead, sir. Yes.
I would like to make two comments. Number one is that Vijay Kumar Katti, who has his own NGO as well as institute to train, mentor, make awareness programs, etc. He's he's with us right now, and he has offered to pursue these particular problems that were shared by both Dr. Jogi and Mr. Jonathan, to make programs, training programs, awareness programs, if that can be of value. And he's based in outskirts of Mumbai, which is Thane. Not only that, I can add a word that he was instrumental to take me to the highest level of authority in Mumbai state, to Mantralaya, as we call it in India, or secretariat of the state. And we did quite a lot of things through him. So he's a very connected type individual, as well as very caring and concerned individual whom we have known for some years. And he has offered this opportunity. So if Mr. Jonathan and Dr. Jogi, we will be happy to connect with Mr. Katti after this call and see how this can be pursued further to make the awareness programs, starting with in Mumbai state, Maharashtra state, and then it can be made it more viral in the other parts of India. That's number one comment I wanted to make. Second one is, only yesterday, coincidentally, I received on WhatsApp some a publication which I didn't really read thoroughly, but it indicated that in India, roughly speaking, just under 700,000 metric tons of grains are fortified and being distributed. How valid this statement is, which I don't know if these two honored speakers can look into it, and then it can be more taken further. And under the current administration, it appears that they have understood, like even Dr. Jogi mentioned about the Prime Minister's name, that he is also concerned about the malnutrition and the deficiency of these kind of elements. So that's I just want to highlight that something is being done, and it is noticed by the government level at a high level. And I think these two gentlemen's assistance, guidance would be of very valuable, and it will be prudent for the nation. With that, I will give you back, Shogji, the platform.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Patel wanted to make a comment. Please unmute and go ahead, Mr. Patel. I think PP means Pana Patel, I think. She put in the chat.
Yes, maybe, yes.
Okay, so please go ahead, madam. Yeah. I want to make a comment, she said, so I just wanted to invite her. And there is another query or a comment from Mr. Vijay Kumar from India. What are the initial symptoms and any other observations can be made or to be made before conceiving? Mr. Vijay Kumar, is it right, or you can unmute and ask the question? He is asking what are the initial symptoms and other observations to be made before conceiving. I'm not sure whether he is asking the question or.
There are no symptoms directly related to folic acid deficiency that may cause spina bifida. Folic acid deficiency also causes anemia and other micronutrient abnormalities. Mild idea, not 100% proven, but there are data to show that a healthy diet with folic acid, of course, and others, does help improve the risk of diabetes or stroke and heart disease. It's a soft data, but there are no symptoms that a potential mother will have to say, I need to take folic acid, otherwise I'll have a bad baby. There are no symptoms. So it's one of those things where we should just give to everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Jogi. Here is another comment, a question from Dr. Sumana from Visakhapatnam. She says she's running a blood center in Visakhapatnam and Vijayawada. Can we do a study in blood donors who are anemic and temporarily deferral till they improve hemoglobin levels? Got it, Dr. Jogi, or shall I repeat again? It's there in the chat.
Yeah. Ashokji, my small interruption.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure to introduce Sumanaji, because I'm also in Visakhapatnam and I see her wonderful service on the blood donations.
Oh, I see.
Very, very fantastic service she's rendering in Visakhapatnam. We are also part of the other groups. Therefore, a lot of credentials, a lot of fantastic service Sumanaji is doing.
Excellent.
Over to you.
Thank you. Thank you for RPG for sharing the such a voluntary efforts. And her question is related to the blood donation. Can we do a study in blood donors who are anemic and temporarily deferral till they improve the hemoglobin levels? Yes, sir.
Excellent idea. A few other factors must be known just so we can make sense of the lab results. For example, in the study that we're doing, because we went through so many iterations and people from SPM, Social Preventive Medicine, and other departments are also joined, and has to go to the ethics committee, we have to have a 3 or 4 page, maybe longer questionnaire. Where are you taking vitamins? Do you have a health condition? Do you have a family issue? Have you had surgery recently? So there's so many other issues that help make sense of the numbers we get, because sometimes the data are not good. So your excellent idea as a screening tool, it can be done. Friends, as part of my other things I do, for example, Vietnam, there right now we have about 100,000 lab samples in Vietnam. By the way, I know somebody's from Singapore, I heard. Jeffrey Smith is from Singapore. He and I are talking. So he asked me for some support. And a friend from New Zealand has trained a person, is going to send that person to stay there for a few months to train others, plus give all the ingredients and test kits, if you will, or supplies. And I'm supporting the few months to stay, whatever, some money. And we're trying to collect and see what 10,000 samples in Vietnam means today, just screening. So those type of studies are being done. In a country like India, with such vast diets and vast exposures, we cannot identify something from Visakhapatnam and take it to Gujarat or take it to Madhya Pradesh. That's what we found. But it's an excellent idea. Why don't we test the samples, because you already have the blood, to see if the folate level is low or vitamin B, level is low or something. Thank you.
Dr. Jogi, I would like to discuss further. By and large, we have about 3 or 4 types of diets in India. One is the usual North Indian food of wheat. The South is based more on rice. Is it possible, in your opinion, that a medium kind of an inference could be drawn with such samples?
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely. We can get ideas. We should start somewhere. Every research project is between 2 parentheses, something before and something after, so it can never be complete. But
no, when Sumanaji said about this blood,
yes,
South India is more rice staple, carbo. The North is more on wheat, rotis and chapatis. So if you have about 30-40% of the population with a majority diet this way or that way, South and North of India's, is there a possibility that given some samples from, let us say, Sumanaji is here, suppose she is able to share certain samples. Is it possible that we could arrive at some inference? It need not be 100%, but
yes,
some inference. Do you think we could have some inference on that?
Yes, sir. We are doing that. They are being done. In fact, not only us, there's another study being done very close to us by Dr. Julia Finkelstein in Andhra. There are studies being done by Stanford and University of California in North, I think near Chandigarh. There are several places that are doing this. So we will have baseline data from various centers, hopefully in a few years. The interest and energy has increased. And yes, it would be a good idea to do that. We need to do that.
Will the weather or the temperature make a difference in these studies?
No, but the collection methods and sampling errors, meaning, has a sample been properly transported, refrigerated, etc., those things will affect the values. Not by living, there may be some differences. Just because of what you pointed out, Ramprasad Garu, I'll tell you, we are very interested in not just salt. We're interested in rice. I'm talking to some other people about rice fortification. We're interested in wheat as a food fortification initiative. Scott Montgomery and his team, Jeff Smith and I spoke tremendously about rice. So in America, not all 400 micrograms of folic acid comes from the bread that I mentioned, friends. Only a portion of it. So suppose we do fortification in India, whether you eat rotis or rice or everything, or just consume salt, you'll get small amount here and here and here, enough to supplement what we need. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
I have a question.
Yes, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. Usually the malnutrition is found in a rural or underdeveloped people. It is not found in the city level, urban level. Whatever the blood donation activity that we see in India is mostly in the urban localities rather than the rural localities. Then this particular examination will not help the people who are actually in the problem. There has to be some awareness program or supporting program to the rural people rather than urban. Our activity should not be limited only with the people around us. We should go beyond it, reach them, educate them, provide them. Everything is available there. Only thing is that they are not aware about it. Lack of knowledge, it is happening. This is what my opinion. And I have met nearly around 2 lakh rural population during my activities, where I could interact with them. I could learn many things from them. Rather than I went there to teach them, in return, I got many more information, which is much more viable, vital in improving my own health also. It is my experience. We should work on the malnutrition is mainly in the underprivileged people or a rural population. We should act only in those areas so that it goes. Our program should not be centered only for urban location. Not, I'm sorry to say that it should not be for publicity purpose.
Yes.
Then only it will work. Thank you.
Sir.
Now,
Thank
Vijay Kumar ji, first is going through all the chats. We have our President Madhu Garu and Jonathan again, Rotary. And as you rightly point out, the problem is in the rural areas where it requires a lot of mass effort and communication and connect. I think we should discuss offline or take it later on how to engage with Rotary, with Madhu Garu there, Madhu Garu here in Visakhapatnam and you there in Mumbai, and our friends Dr. Jogi and Dr. John, and take it further. I hand over to Ashok ji to take the proceedings further.
Thank you, RPG. In fact, Dr. Jogi and Jonathan already committed in writing that they are working in Mumbai and they want to join, love to join with Mr. Katti and others in that process. As Mr. Katti said, they're already focusing on the rural areas. Mr. Katti, it's not in the urban areas. Their maximum efforts, which they have shown the flyer as well as the photos, they're all from the rural areas. And your suggestion of is well taken. In fact, that's very good. And we want to synergize efforts, as Mr. Jitu Saab said, that we want to synergize the efforts. There are so many people who wants to give it back to India, and we need to capture that. Any further comments from anyone? You're welcome. And we have a 12 minutes more to close. Yes. Mr. Jitu Saab, you have anything else to share, or we will go back?
All I can, sorry, Dr. Jogi, go ahead. Yes.
Just the same thought, because you asked. Sir, I don't know, Vijay Kumar Garu, if you know Dr. Rajshri Devpujari. She's a neuroanesthesiologist, wife of a world-famous pediatric surgeon. She's the current president of the Rotary there. And she just texted me a few days ago. And maybe you know, Sir Sandeep Agarwala. He's the district governor of Rotary there, sir.
Yeah.
So we are working. So maybe we could use your help. John, please, let's team up. John's a Rotarian, John's the past president. You all can make those connections happen. Thank you.
Thank you.
I would like to say I work a lot of projects with Rotaries.
Okay.
Since last 15 years, I'm doing a lot of activities along with the Rotary. Maybe they know me. I don't know them personally. Thank you.
Thank you. With that, I would like to request our fellow trustee member, Mr. Jitu Patel, who started the event and with a lot of knowledge sharing, and would like to request him to close the event with the vote of thanks. Mr. Jitu.
Ashok ji, it was really wonderful to listen to this very interesting discussion, comments and suggestions and questions, very enlightening. And both the honored speakers really shared their lot of knowledge and experience worldwide, and in particular, what they are doing in India. This is really very heartwarming and heart lifting. We are extremely grateful to our dear friend and colleague, Madhubura Guruji, for introducing Dr. Jogi and Mr. Jonathan Yeager to us, who in turn spared their valuable time sharing their vast, in-depth knowledge voluntarily with our attending delegates. Thank you both very, very much, and Madhuburaji in particular for making this connection of vital importance. These gentlemen made an outstanding presentation, each of a really high value. Excellent opening remarks by our dear friend, Mr. Ram Prasad Garuji, on commemoration of World Food Day 2022 was much appreciated. He did a wonderful job in opening the platform for these two world-renowned speakers. I want to thank all those who took time, and I could see that Hari Kumar is with us, Mr. Dakshamurthy, and many others I already mentioned names of. They're all with us for not only supporting the foundation's efforts, but also volunteering to take it further, and that is really much appreciated. I want to make a request to all who are on this webinar and invite them all to take time to visit the foundation's website and see where you can fit in to continue and support the objectives, the missions, and the vision of the foundation that was described by Mr. Ashokji to take it further. The objective is what is really there that we can give back to the community. And in this one, we are really focusing on the community in India. So for not only it's a noble cause the foundation is aiming for, but also in particular, Safer Bharat is the main mission. I want to thank our dear friend, the co-trustee Ashokji, for running the webinar so effectively and so efficiently. So much appreciated, Ashokji, your efforts and vigor by all of us who are on this call. And once again, thank you all for sparing your valuable time for making this event a great success, and in particular to our honored guest speakers. Ashokji, with that, if nobody else has anything, would you like to take a picture of all those who are present? That would be a good memory to keep it in our system, please.
Yes, thank you so much. And as the slide says, we can all together achieve more. Everyone achieves more. The teamwork always helps us. Today, we got a very good connection with Mr. Vijay Kumar Katti, as well as Mr. Bhaskaran and others. We have with us Mr. Ramaswamy Krishnaswamy Ramanathan. He is our student committee chair. So I request everybody to keep the microphone where the camera is open so that we can take a group picture.
I would like to, after you're taking a picture, like to know a little more about Anil Kumar, who is very handsome looking and giving a great smile. I would like to know a little more about him too, please, later.
Yes, let's take a picture.
Yeah, and also a smile. Ashokji, also a smile from everybody.
When I say photo, everybody smiles, of course. Yeah. Excellent.
Oh, a small interrupt. My grandson says, Tata, you didn't tell me to say cheese. The guy is 4 years old. He says, Tata, you didn't tell me to say cheese.
Thank you, everyone.
That's
I'm
an aside.
stopping the recording.